And hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good night, to whatever time it is where you are. We're getting ready for another Link to the Past Randomizer tournament match here between Khloe Prower and ObscureLifeForm. My name is Dazed Cloud. I'm joined in the booth today by Ben. How you doing over there?
Doing good. Looking forward to another fine rando race. I see we've got a match. I don't think it's reflected on our overlay here, but I think this is race 2 between these two racers. Is that correct?
To be honest, I'm not exactly sure that sounds right to me, but I'm gonna have to double check that myself, actually.
Yeah, I'm looking at the challenge page, and it looks like Khloe Prower has a win under their belt here. Ah, there we go, and there we go. It just got updated by our wonderful tracker or restreamer. I'm honestly not sure who does that.
Well, with Khloe up 1-0 here, do you happen to know what sort of match we've got today? Or we just did ObscureLifeForm make any sort of changes?
That I am not sure about. Let me see if I can find the answer to that question here.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like we have too much exactly shown right there, but we should know here pretty soon exactly what we've got.
But it looks like this
Let me ask you this.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry, go ahead. I was just going to ask you what sort of race you were hoping for tonight.
I mean, we always hope for a close race. We do have some stakes this time around because this is the being match 2. If Khloe gets another win, that will knock ObscureLifeForm out of the tournament, I believe.
Yeah, he's going to be fighting for his life here, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him really trying to get out there and do everything that he possibly can to get going. Hopefully we'll be underway here in just a minute. Have to go check to see if they've gotten going quite yet. They've been set up for a couple of minutes now, so hopefully they'll be moving pretty quickly. And it looks like as I speak, here they go.
And I always like to see that divergence right from the beginning. You get to see some different checks. We've got Ether Medallion and Sanctuary over on Khloe's side as ObscureLifeForm heads up to go talk to his uncle.
ObscureLifeForm picking up that bee in the bottle there from Link's house. Is going to see what he can get from Uncle. Didn't pick up the sign, so he don't think he'll be able to get the tree pole right away, which is kind of a surprising move.
Yep, and likewise, Khloe Prower skipping out on that lumberjack check, which you often see starting from Sanctuary, does find a glove here in Lost Woods. That's 1/3 of our necessaries for Dark World access.
That's a good start right there. You always want to find that one nice and early because we can just move on to many, many different places. Looks like Khloe is going to go for the new hot meta strat of immediately saving and quitting after checking those first 2 in the Lost Woods. Didn't find bombs, probably is going to be curling around from the bottom of Kakariko up into the north.
And with the glove, of course, gets the additional 50-50 chance of finding a bomb outside Link's house. Not going to work out today.
And Khloe's working down here. Is going to have to another group of 50-50 drops here in these bushes. First round doesn't get anything as Obscure moves up to go and pick up their glove. Ooh, gets a full magic drop from the tree pole there. That's a pretty nice thing.
Always good to have that handy, easy magic refill if you need it.
Khloe's going for another, has picked up 2 bombs already. He's going to go for another round, hopefully, to get that 3rd bomb that will really kind of make you feel good about going through Kakariko at that point. Assuming that there's nothing on race game, you need 3 bombs to pick up everything in Kakariko.
And of course, it never fails. That seed that you spend all kinds of time firing bombs is exactly the one where you find the 10 bomb stack right there in Cackwell or someplace like that.
Of course, I'm kind of half expecting just to see that sitting right there in the back of the tavern for Khloe. Seems to be always the way. Ooh, on the library. We are going to need some boots here at some point, looks like.
Always nice to know for sure that boots are going to come into play. It opens everything up, picks up the pace, and opens up so much fun, dumb tech.
Exactly. Now, we're not necessarily 100% into needing a mirror yet, but it's highly, highly, highly likely that that's going to show up for us. In the basement of, in the basement of the thieves' hideout there, Obscure unfortunately doesn't have a bomb, but ends up picking up a cape and the hook shot. That's gonna make having to walk back down to and buy bombs feel a little bit better. It still doesn't feel good, but a little bit better.
Yeah, and of course, early game, all those tiny little time saves, walking to the bomb shop and back, feel like such a big deal. Later on, you're making decisions about whether to dip Turtle Rock without the fire rod and
all those good fun ones. Things like, oh gee, I have bombos and I also mitts. Gee, should I go into Ice Palace early or not? Gee, I don't know. How do I feel about myself today? Runners are making their way through CAC. They're just kind of retracing each other's steps here, so they're just gonna be following each other. Now Chloe's gonna give us that first look at what's hiding in the back of Blind's hideout here. Them pick up their hook shot as well, and we're gonna find out it's gonna be plus 10 arrows. So a quick save and quit from Khloe there. Obscure is about to get the news that their mirror is sitting on a library ledge that unfortunately they just can't climb. We'll have to see where everybody goes from here.
Khloe opting to head right from Link's house instead of the more traditional South Shore route. Where's he going?
We seem to be at a premium at the moment here. There's nobody's had enough for bottle vendor according to chat there. I didn't actually catch that myself. I'm kind of surprised nobody just sat there and took 2 minutes to farm the money that they needed.
Yeah, it seems to be a slight time save that I'm seeing a lot more lately, and it's understandable considering that in a typical run you wind up going back to the village multiple times. There will be ample opportunity to pick up that bomb vendor later.
As Obscure makes their way into the back of Escape here, picks up a map, some bombs, and changes the color on his piranha plant. There, that's blue mail for him, and a 300 rupee drop there, sitting right in the first chest of the dam. That's a good thing to find right about now, especially when you haven't had any money up until this point.
Puts him a fair way closer to having that Zora money, and just eases your mind if you have to go into pod later, relatively early in the seed. You know you're in good shape.
Have a quick mini Moldorm check over here for Khloe, and we're gonna have to find out if there's gonna be something here that's gonna be useful for them. Chloe's electing to use a combination B strat and a hookshot strat there. B's kind of cooperating. Yeah, was very quick and very well done. It's a red boomerang, some bombs. Ooh, there's your boots. And a red rupee. Things are looking pretty good so far.
I always love seeing early boots in a seed.
So that now gives you, assuming that a lamp is nearby, which is probably a fair guess, or if these runners choose to just ignore the fact that they need a lamp, you could go up to the mountain right now and start clearing out quite a bit up there.
Yeah, that with that hook shot, we've got our east side Death Mountain access. With the mirror, we could get up to Hera, which is a crystal dungeon. Potentially full clearable, depending on whether that basement is required. Although, we could also see some Hera pot strats to bypass the big key, even if big key is locked in the basement. So lots of fun options. Lots of fun decisions, even this early in the seed.
We're gonna need a weapon though. That's the biggest problem for going up to Hera at this point. You can do that, but you're gonna have to hope that one of the two chests that you have access to is going to have a way to kill it. As we see both of our runners here kind of setting up their water walk and gonna go check a few other things. Being rewarded with it so far, the waterfall cave just having a double 20 rupee drop in there. I have to see if they can get something a little bit better here, but neither of them have the money for Zora, unfortunately. Be a quick save and quit. I'm kind of surprised that I'm not seeing the runners run back to Hobo now that they have the water walk active. It's a very quick way to get back there.
Yeah, it's hard to think when else you would want to route that particular check-in.
Or just kind of leaving that one on an island under a bridge, unfortunately. We'll have to see what happens.
Well, it looks like ObscureLifeForm might be heading that way, so we might get a chance to see what everybody's favorite homeless man has hidden for us.
We're not we're still trying to figure out exactly where are we going to get some progression right now. Logically says either front of escape or eastern, as Khloe churns another color there and is some sort of very pink Vaporeon Vaporeon there. Wow.
Yeah, Eastern would seem to be the in-logic play with the highest density at this point, between the 3 in Sorcerer's Closet and then whatever we can find in Eastern proper. There's also the Orphan Checks, Agina, Bottle Vendor.
Bonk Rocks. There's still quite a few available for everyone. We'll have to see what happens.
And it looks like ObscureLifeForm opting to go check out his mirror, which will also put him pretty close to that bottle vendor if he decides to head back up that way.
Now that he has the money, it seems like a pretty good time to do it. You don't know when the next time you're going to be over here is. Unless you find a flute, you don't find yourself back this way too quickly. He's going to go the other way, though. It's going to give us that escape check for us and see if we can grab something that will get this seed moving a little bit. Ray says, also 10 arrows. Man.
And this second visit to CAC does have some extra value for ObscureLifeForm. He gets to check these bomb checks that he missed before. We know he's not going to find anything too exciting, but it's good to have that peace of mind if you're him.
Head mail on these sprites is very nice. I do appreciate both of those. I think I might steal this piranha plant next time I play. This thing, I'm kind of a fan of that one right there. Chloe's got 2 more items here in escape that to find. First, she's got to do it with bombs, unfortunately, which doable. It's not the preferred way of taking care of this, guys.
Yeah, our runners are kind of running out of good options here. A bomb escape isn't great, but if it nets you a lamp, then maybe it's worth it. That fire source does make Hera full clearable, not in logic, but we're still waiting on a weapon before that really comes into play. You can do escape with bombs. Try fighting Moldorm with bombs and see what happens.
He might just laugh at you and knock you down the middle hole a couple hundred times. Just
I think that's the most likely outcome.
He plays a little link pool there, so he just says center pocket. Therefore, I'm gonna send him down. Ah, there's some progression. Finally.
And chat rightly pointing out I spoke incorrectly. Hera is logically accessible now with that lamp. And they're also pointing out, they were better at counting items than I was, that there is an item in Dark Cross.
Surprising Khloe didn't take a death warp there to go and check that out, but I mean, red mail makes death warping extremely difficult.
Obscure Lifeform taking us through one of the easier dark rooms in the game, but it's still a pain without those sword sparkles to give you your position. Have to sit and wait for that hook shot anytime you're not sure whether you've gotten lost or not. But he makes it, rescuing the old man. And we'll see what Paradox is hiding here. Here's hoping that we can finally find ourselves a weapon. Or at least a better weapon than bombs. And there it is, the hammer. That will take down Moldorm. Oh, and the Moon Pearl. That is the other 2/3 of Dark World access hiding here in Paradox Cave.
It's like we're back in action here. Obscure is getting there, gonna have a lot of options out open to them now, finally here at the 15-minute mark.
Yeah, and most immediately with that hammer, gets him into Hera without even having to save and quit, back out to the old man cave.
Be able to circle around and just have a nice, easy, gentle route here. Floating island just with 10 arrows, so that's one more thing we can just mark off on the old tracker. You're making their way right in there to see if we can get a little bit of extra stuff here. We've now got at least the well, at least we know that we have 2 crystals open to us that are fully completable right now, but wouldn't be surprised to see, especially on Khloe's side, since they have the bow, wouldn't be surprised if Khloe chooses to go and start at Hype Cave first, just on the off chance that Palace of Darkness is also a at that point they can just take both of those out at one time, as Obscure demonstrates a pretty nice Harapot setup there.
And that red rupee is the second item available in Hera. So nothing firelocked in the basement, nothing in that big chest. He's able to defeat Moldorm, confident in the knowledge that he hasn't orphaned anything here.
The nice thing about Harapot is that if you find something in the basement like that, you find something in that first chest when you walk in, and then you Harapot and go straight to the top, find something in the second chest, the entire dungeon turns out to be done in a minute. It's one of the better finds that we've had of all of our glitches in the past, like, 6 months, for sure. As Moldorm
Absolutely.
explodes into lots of pretty colors and gives Obscure his first crystal.
Meanwhile, Khloe giving us just a piece of heart here in Spiral Cave and then choosing to nope out of the mountain.
Where is Obscure headed? Gonna go check out what is hiding here in Spectacle Rock. Probably just gonna find out. Really that
Very
interested
loving
in it.
Spectacle Rock here today.
All the hearts that you could possibly want. What does Obscure have in mind here? Is this a spike cave check? Oh, nope, it's going to pick up that extra heart first, at least. Into the Dark World as finding out that, unfortunately, Pod is a pendant. So there's a decision that you want to make right now. You've got all the items for it. Do you want to go, though?
This early in the seed, with so much left to be discovered in the pool, and there are so many items in Pod, there's never going to be a better time to route it in. Ooh, and there's Bombos in Hype Cave. As well as Blue Cane and Mushroom. I'm going to preemptively call that 3 out of 10 hype, but we'll see whether that Bombos is logically required. We'll see whether that Mushroom gets us anything good.
Yeah, it's a little early to tell. We'll have to find out what exactly we're going to get out of all of that quite yet. Chloe's in a position that if they wanted to, they could just run straight up to the side here. Check that mushroom really fast. Probably is going to hang on to it for a little bit, just on the off chance that you could turn that mushroom into something later with another one of our glitches there, the fake powder. Obscure, on the other side, looks to have decided to run one more time up the mountain and get that quick spike cave check in, that really early 20-minute spike cave check.
Yeah, this check is so out of the way. It's usually one that you see put off until much later in the seed. It's usually one of the last things you do in a second or third climb up the mountain.
See if this pays off for him. What do we got here? It is just a piece of heart, which... not that
Meanwhile,
shocking,
Khloe...
unfortunately.
Yeah, Khloe has decided to pay the monkey his toll and see what's in Pod.
Straight into the pendant pod. Not choosing to do Eastern first. A little surprising, but can't really fault this play at all here. It's a area with a large item density. You kind of feel like, I'm here, I want to do this now, I definitely don't want to come back for it later.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine what he would find in Eastern that would make him say, you know what, I'm out, skipping Pod. So if you're committed to doing it anyway, it does save you a little bit of time in screen transitions doing Pod first.
Obscure picks up their kind of semi-mediocre-ish hype cave which is it's kind of more of the typical hype cave, and now it seems to be deciding to move to the west side of the dark world here, checking a few more, maybe favoring a few more mirror locations over the others. Having a small pack of bombs there, nice little 3-pack for there. Chloe's gonna make their way through the mimic room. No need for any sort of camera unlock glitches or anything here. We've got we've already got the bow, so we can just walk right through. Gear not finding anything though on this west side so far. Has found bombs, and it looked like more bombs.
Interesting. Khloe opting, having found the big key, opting to go straight to Helmasaur rather than head into Dark Maze and other backside of pod checks.
Well, Obscure is just gonna, looks like they're gonna just run back up through the light world here to get to the north portal and see if we can just he can see if he can maybe grab something out of Thieves Town instead, which is another one of our crystals there, a red crystal as well. So play makes sense by any means. He is just making a beeline right for Helmasaur. Got a big key in the right side there. It's just gonna run straight over there. It is very aggressive play. On the Helma fight right now, just gonna give Helmasaur a nice couple of taps on his little helmet there. Gonna 17 to be exact, and then with Chloe's setup here, it's probably gonna be 8 arrows right to the little green jewel that's gonna pop up there. Helma's not really playing nice, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's juking away from that last arrow. Very nice Helma fight on Chloe's part, but sometimes RNGesus just doesn't want to cooperate.
Is rewarded with that red pendant there. I have to assume that Chloe's just going to go into the back now that you've cleared out the front. You've done the long part. Now you might go do the valuable part.
And Chloe doing another quick map check. It seems possible he may have mistracked and thought he was collecting a crystal here.
Oh, I kind of hope not, but that map check did kind of make you think that, didn't it?
It's easy to do. You're in that high pressure race situation. You're trying to spend as little time as possible on that map check, trying to commit everything to memory instantly, and then place it on your tracker as you go.
At least Khloe didn't pull a great thinking that they needed 8 crystals to clear Ganon, like somebody who might have done that once or twice in their life. One in particular.
ObscureLifeForm finding the flippers in the front side of Thieves Town, putting all the nothing we found in Fairy Fountain back into logic, which is always nice.
Khloe took a little bit of extra time there to make sure that they picked up as many rupees as possible. They now have full-on Zora money. And on Obscure's side, not having the bow is probably the reason why he went over to the left side, the west side, versus just going straight over to Eastern Palace. That is available Sphere Zero location. It's not a fun Sphere Zero location to get to because that's in Zelda's cell. It's going to be a while for them to get that, as Khloe just completely strikes out of pod, unfortunately.
Yep. Of course, with in V31, with bows being progressive, he now has, I believe, full clear access to Ice Palace. He's got a lot of other stuff to check. It's possible he might find that bow elsewhere and wind up not having it hurt him too much.
You say
especially
that, but...
with... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you say that, but, like... That second bow tends to hide itself in Ganon's tower.
Yeah, it's true. You're not wrong, with it not being logically required for anywhere but Ganon, and with so many checks in GT. But yeah, so far with no particular progression value being found in either of the places that bow would logically lead you to, it might be quite a while before ObscureLifeForm heads that way. But we'll see what the rest of Eastern Palace holds.
Far, not a whole lot. As hey, if there's something useful for Obscure, finally, we've got ourselves our first sword hanging out in the maiden cell in the back. Escort the maiden up to the little hole room with the hole in the roof. Find out that, hey, wait a minute, you're not actually a maiden, you're a bad guy. I have to kill you now. Oh, everyone say it with me. This is a scripted fight. It is 9 hits to blind. It does not matter really what weapon you use to deal these 9 hits, as long as it does damage. You're gonna
and
go
ObscureLifeForm sticking very close to that script. Very nice tight blind fight. You see a lot of runners losing track of it towards the third phase where it starts to matter a little less, but
very clean fight right there from ObscureLifeForm. Just going right through that, sticking right on that script, not having any issues whatsoever. Khloe on the other side is going to see if he can give us also a pretty clean Armos Knights fight. Getting a little off script there. Gonna have to scramble, unfortunately. Those arrows seeming to not really wanting to hit their target right now. Gets a compass for their troubles, and their second crystal, I believe. Did Khloe not finish Hera?
no, Khloe opted to peace out of the mountain before heading into Hera. Decided to make that play for Spiral and nope out rather than climb back up.
Okay, then.
He may be hoping to route that in when he has dark Death Mountain access and save himself a little mountain climbing if possible.
That is definitely an option for sure. Theoretically, it doesn't usually work, but if you can make Hera your last dungeon, it is very, very, very quick.
Meanwhile,
We're right
Obscure
outside
Lifeform
GT.
giving us
Go
our
straight
our
in.
first look into Skull Woods here.
Okay. Khloe has found a little item there on the pyramid. That is our Titan's Mitts. That is going to open up quite a few things there. That is going to make going back up that mountain a lot more interesting. It's going to make... now, if you want to, you could even fake Flipper into Ice Palace if you want to go and grab that other crystal real fast. World has really opened up. With this being 6-6, it's going to be... Gonna have to wonder exactly how fast are these guys gonna start rushing these items.
So right now, Khloe is needing, with Tower of Hera accessible, Thieves Town, Ice Palace. It's really down to what does he find access to first, Turtle or Mire?
We're missing a flute to get to Mire. We have... it's likely that our medallions are taken care of. We say this, but of course watching them both be Quake now that I've said it. We also need... But we need both rods for Turtle Rock, so... This is an issue. I guess Obscure actually has the ice rod. I was only looking at Chloe's tracker, but yeah, this could be a thing real fast.
Obscure Lifeform heading off into Swamp Palace, another available crystal with quite a bit of item density.
Here at the 35-minute mark, Khloe is making their way up to Zora to see if something has been hiding up here this entire time. Fish says,
Partial refund.
yeah, that's reasonable. One of those times where you're not going to get angry, but you're not going to laugh either. You're going to just kind of look at that and go, yeah, okay. That's fine. I'll take that, I suppose. So many times you go up there and you get this single arrow or something that's just insulting. Obscure is making their way through Swamp Palace, is seeming to put a bit of a priority on some of these other checks as Khloe pulls out Quake out of King's Tomb there, which will give us all of our medallions. That's a great find right there. That means you don't even have to worry about checking Mire and Turtle Rock until you are ready to go in and clear them, pretty much.
Meanwhile, Obscure opting to do left side of Swamp here. It's something you often see racers gambling to skip, but not today. We're going to be full clearing this sucker.
Obscure is still looking for quite a lot. At this point, it probably doesn't make sense to go ahead and skip this at this time. If it was a little bit later and he was down to one item, maybe two items, skipping left side is just a no-brainer. But where he stands right now, this is likely a pretty comfortable play.
Khloe waiting for that very rude wallmaster to make an appearance so that he can feel safe pulling this statue. Checking one of the more annoying checks here in Skullwoods for just a small key.
That's what makes it one of the more annoying checks, is because a lot of the times you're just getting garbage out of it. There's only 2 items in Skullwoods, and yeah, it's not a great thing. As Obscure unfortunately finds left side didn't have anything but a shield for him, and shields not really what you're looking for in this game, unfortunately. Don't have a whole lot of utility.
Khloe finding a shovel here in Skullwoods, adding insult to injury, these time-consuming items to grab, and one of them's a fetch quest.
You're spending time here in Pendant Skullwoods. Skullwoods is kind of a strange place to be because it's not the overworld, but it more or less is. It's so close to everything else that you feel like you just kind of have to check it here. And I think Khloe's already gotten both items out of Skull there. I might have miscounted it, though. It's late for me.
It's early for me, so... Ooh, there's Fire Rod on ObscureLifeForm side over in Swamp Palace.
Oh.
Exactly what Khloe would have needed to get that pendant out of Skull if he wanted. It is the green pendant, I believe. So one more item.
Yeah, very true there. We'd have to... If Khloe starts clearing out all the pendants when Obscure starts clearing out all of the crystals here, we might have to have a word about miscommunication on the race goal. Going in here, Obscure's got a nice, fun fighter sword Argus fight. This is not the easiest thing to do. There's 2 ways to do it. You can either go with the menu strats, or you can do what Obscure is doing right now, which is to charge your fighter sword, and then try to hook shot. You typically want to try to hook shot 2 puffs off of Argus there, and then release your sword as they're coming back in. I'm making it sound extremely difficult, and to be honest, it actually kind of is. It's not the easiest trick to pull off.
Yeah, it is way harder than it looks.
Almost getting the nice 4-shot fire rod kill there. Ended up having to settle for a kind of a little 2 cycle, but things going pretty well.
And ObscureLifeForm committing to the full clear, heading back into Swamp Palace to check that big chest, which he wasn't able to open before, until finding Big Key in backside.
Oh, this route might actually really work for Obscure here. He's now cleared both of the 5-6 crystals. What he's likely to do immediately after this is to go and get the pyramid fairy, the big bomb up here. He's gonna take that up there, blow open a hole, or he's gonna make me a liar. Okay, never mind. But if he did,
well, he may be just making a slight detour to see what that shovel's holding.
that would make sense. That would be a good play on his part, definitely.
But even coming out of this check, it's hard to imagine there being a much more convenient time to check that pyramid fairy.
Top of that is, after he checks that pyramid fairy, if he mirrors down, he could pick up his bow. from Zelda Cell. He's going to be right on top of it at that time, and it could end up turning a pretty quick and easy check for him, and then he's can just go directly into Eastern, and that would put him runs right by it, unfortunately. Oh, that's a shame. Well, it looks like he might just go forget the Pyramid Fairy and just never. I don't know where he's going right now. Oh, he's going up to the pyramid anyway without the bomb. Okay, good enough.
Well,
Yours
that'll
got
get
me
him
all
his
messed up.
That'll get him his Titan's Mitts, which will put Ice Palace full clearable and even in logic for him.
Now, if he mirrors, he's in great shape here. Looks like he's gonna go check those areas without the bow, or got me all messed up.
And it looks like he might be suffering from a moment of indecision too. Decides to change course here and head north.
This looks like he's gonna check the mushroom here, and then probably, since he's up here, probably grab catfish as well. Khloe finally finds a sword in Maiden's chest again, and as right now, as everyone is just kind of doing things that we have seen already, if you could go ahead and give these runners a follow here. They're putting on the show here for us today, giving us a pretty good match here. It's still early. We're still looking for quite a bit at this point. It's we can start to see the end, but it's not over yet by any means.
Yeah, I think the big thing we're looking for is red cane for either Turtle or Mire. Mire, of course, would require flute as well.
Other thing is, we don't have a second sword yet. It's one thing with 6/6. A lot of times you can find yourself just being on Master Sword, and if just doing Master Sword Silverless, that is a heck of an equalizer there. It's not. Runners of this caliber can easily do it, but
yeah, I think the bigger gamble at that point is, do you enter GT with Fighter Sword and hope, or do you spend time doing a bunch of other checks?
At that point, you go into it and you hope, and if you don't get it, you start to feel really bad about yourself. But you gotta, I think that would be the typical play. Gonna have to try to figure out where everything else is.
And of course, we haven't seen the Dark Death Mountain play. Hookshot Cave is fully in play, which is a lot of check density right there. So plenty of spots left to check here.
Well, apparently, we missed something fairly substantial. Khloe found Kane.
Oh, okay.
I think Obscure was distracting me with his fancy dance maneuvers there in the next to the pyramid there, and I wasn't watching on unfortunately. I guess it was on Pyramid Ledge, so that is another thing in Khloe's favor right now.
Graveyard Ledge, rather, yeah.
Obscure is going to be probably spending the entire time clearing out everything in Ice Palace. That here, we found Fire Rod in Swamp, so as soon as Khloe makes their way to Swamp, that's gonna be Sword mode, I believe.
I'm watching with bated breath as both of our runners clearing out some checks that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, it does kind of look like now we're just kind of hoping for a sword or something to kind of get moving here, or want to see Khloe maybe move themselves towards swamp at that point, because this race will really get going the moment that Khloe gets down there, and with that purple just in tow, that is very likely where they're going. Opted for a couple of hookshot, a little bit of rapid fire hookshot use there to clear the pen gators in the room down here. Tries to go for the little swag clip through the spike, doesn't quite get it, but you know, gets through without too much issue there. Red mail helps you every time. Pulls a switch here, finds the big key in this iced H room, I guess if you want to call it that. Move into the traditional big key chest here and grabbing a map, while Khloe's picking up their bombs from Stumpy and is going to show off another one of the more recently discovered glitches here. Oh no, Khloe, what are you doing? You have forgotten the purple chest. Stop. And so on and so forth here. You want to see a magic trick?
Is it going to be more fun than the one with the pencil? Because...
But yeah, you bring up a good point. Watch ready? Ta-da! Red rupee on everything. It's amazing, eh? It's kind of amazing that this game will be celebrating 30 years fairly soon, and yet we're still finding new tech as we go here. This is the people who play this game put so much effort into finding new ways to just completely break it open.
ObscureLifeForm heading into the iced tea room, finding just a big 20. As Khloe moving into swamp.
This is not paying off for him, unfortunately. Got to get to that Zelda's chest. Got to get down there to the back of Escape, and that's going to be something that's going to take a long time to get to. If you're an Obscure fan, you kind of hope that he's running out of checks pretty quickly here, and will end up going down there. You don't really want him to go to TR. And he can't without that cane either.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's looking pretty likely that Khloe will be able to go mode Ice Palace, which is a fairly substantial time save, versus full clearing it, as Obscure just did.
You're looking at a difference between roughly around a 5 to 6 minute clear versus like a 2 to 3 minute clear. Khloe has just checked much more than Obscure has at this point. That's the biggest advantage here, and it's going to hit go mode as soon as they make their way, well, not go mode, but sword mode, to the back of swamp. Thinking about the locations of a lot of items today, this has been a seed that has kind of evenly spread them out. Sometimes the seeds like to put everything in the dungeons themselves, and there's been a few items definitely in dungeons. But we've also found quite a few items just in the overworld, like in Graveyard Ledge and other places like that, where checking the overworld this time has really helped Khloe gain a bit of an advantage here, even though crystal-wise, Obscure is a little bit of ahead. Khloe's going to be doing a lot more of these dungeons in go mode pretty quickly here. So,
yeah, that crystal advantage can be deceptive because we know that those crystal dungeons that Obscure has cleared but Khloe has not don't have any particular progression value in them, meaning that Khloe will have the advantage once he knows that he can go mode them.
Obscure on the right side there, pulling off a pretty nice bomb dupe, as Khloe has hit sword mode right now and is just looking for a master sword to get themselves fully into go mode. At that point, you're going to see them go extremely fast. It's going to be kind of interesting to see what Khloe decides to do here.
And Obscure finding the flute there in the Fat Fairy Fountain.
But immediately saves and quits instead of going down to the cell.
And unfortunately, that for leading to a crystal dungeon, that flute could pull Obscure even further out of what we know to be quite possibly his optimal route.
Still, it doesn't change. He can go down to Mire and he can check the area around it. And maybe he gets lucky, maybe there's the other bow down there. Yeah, checks are still a little low.
Yeah, that second bow would get him a crystal through Eastern, but it could also have him looking into Pod, where Khloe did not full clear it, so I suppose it's possible that there's a sword or something in there. Oh, and speaking of swords, there's that Master Sword.
Hey, now we are getting somewhere there pretty quickly. So that eliminates one of our swords from the pool here. So we're just 2 left, and it was Bombos on Mire. Obscure's going to take some more time. Check then yet another, fortunately. Watch Khloe's screen here. This is going to be an interesting next screen or two to see exactly how much does Khloe check. You're in sword mode right now, and I think in this case, you're just gonna go mode Ice Palace. Might check the Freezor chest. You might check the Pengator chest, but I don't think you'll check anything else.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine him going all the way to the iced tea room, which is so out of the way compared to the rest of the dungeon. The hammerlock stuff is out of the way. Everything else is pretty well along the go mode route. Might as well get that big chest if you find the big key on the way to it, which I believe he will, if I'm remembering correctly.
Believe so. The other thing is, Khloe's going to just do the Ice Palace bomb jump here and not even going to think about a big key by any means. It's just going to jump right over. The big key was on the right side of ice. I do remember that much. that key there, Chloe. Gonna have to kill that little jelly to get it from you. Obscure is still just checking, trying to find his bow. Unfortunately, if you're an Obscure fan right now, you need to be trying to send him happy thoughts of a prison cell. Well, you know, actually, maybe don't send him that. That sounds terrible. This is definitely a check that we haven't seen yet. Agina, nobody has been here, I think. And there you go, 10 arrows only. Seems to be the theme of the day.
So right now, looking at Khloe, he needs another sword. We know one of them is locked behind a flute, which is in the Fat Fairy, which it's hard to imagine him, if he didn't pick it up before, it's hard to imagine him going for it now. So he is hoping to find one of 2 more swords in the pool. It could be in Hookshot Cave, if it's there, if it's in Turtle Rock, if it's in GT, he's in good shape. Otherwise, we might have a race on our hands.
And Chloe is seeming just to do kind of what we expected, and it's just making a beeline straight for Cold Stare here. It's gonna, assuming is with half magic, it wouldn't be surprised to see them switch to bombos to break the shell open and then just melt the sucker. Sure enough, takes out that bombos, completely breaks off Cold Stare's outer shell here. Oh, misses the spin into the corner, but does have half magic. This is gonna probably be rather trivial. Couple of shots to the head from those falling icicles. Cold Stare explodes into a small key. Chloe picks up their 4th crystal and has many options for what exactly they want to do to finish off their next 2.
Meanwhile, ObscureLifeForm giving us some new knowledge here. Let's see what's in Hookshot. And he did open up Turtle Rock, so that might be... Oh no, he does not have his red cane yet, so never mind. And nothing of note in Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, unfortunately, just time's away from him. Bad place to kind of last location, because outside of the very beginning of the game, it's hard to remember to go back there sometimes. You're focused on dungeons, you're focused on things that feel productive, where going down to Zelda's chest in an open mode at an hour in doesn't necessarily feel productive. You're thinking about other places to go.
Oh? But it looks like ObscureLifeForm may have made what we know to be the correct decision here.
And with that, that's gonna make... Well, no, he still doesn't have the red cane. It's gonna put him on the right track, at least. I'm trouble reading him, apparently, I think. Everything that I say that he's going to do, it seems like he does the opposite.
Yeah, and unfortunately, his one real advantage at this point is that he has not done what we know to be a dry pod, but finding the bow in here, and the lamp, which puts pod fully into logic, that's going to be a strong pull in that direction, as opposed to Graveyard Ledge, which is just... It's a rough check to go back to this late in the day.
Yeah, it was one of these times where you'd almost hope for Obscure's sake that maybe Turtle Rock was... No, I mean, even if Turtle Rock was Quake, at this point, there's just not a whole lot. Chloe's just starting to run away with this lead here. It's gonna have a go mode-ish Turtle Rock. There's 5 items in here plus Mimic Cave for a 6th one, so there is a reasonable chance that there's a sword hiding in Turtle Rock.
Unless those last 2 swords are hiding in mire or someplace weird like that, it is looking like Khloe's race to lose.
Fluting away is going to go directly to 5. Going to go polish off Eastern really quickly here. Oh, and might be doing that pod dive immediately after, unfortunately, setting it up pretty quickly.
Yeah, 5 items to be found in pod. Hard to fault the decision making. But we have that curse of knowledge.
It's easy to say what we think they should do because we're on this side. When you're actually playing, you know, it is a different beast altogether. You're scrambling. You're trying to think about, well, where is my opponent? What have they likely done? Especially if you find something kind of late like that bow, you start thinking, oh God, did my opponent do this earlier? What should I do now? Like, what sort of gambles do I have to make? It's it's a nerve-wracking experience at the best of times. Khloe is making their way through Turtle Rock just a little bit at the time here. Gonna not really find a whole lot of items in the front there. Most of the items tend to hang out towards the back. Typically lights up our pokey here while Obscure is going into Eastern Palace. If you can, again, please do think about giving these runners a follow here. They really could use your support. They're going out here and putting themselves out on the line here in this tournament for kind of your entertainment in a lot of ways there. So if you would, just go ahead and give them a follow. And also, if you get a chance, follow our trackers. If you're interested in volunteering for any additional help here with the speed gaming channels here, go ahead and take a look at our Discord page here. This entire operation runs off of volunteer power here. So if you can, feel free to jump in and help people out.
Absolutely. It is a wonderful community. It is lovely to see the absolute army of volunteers that it takes to put this show on for you. Khloe, heading into the vanilla big key chest rather, finds only a bloomerang.
Gotta shout out that Eevee sprite there. I think I need that. I think I need that one just as a sprite. Forget the Vaporeon. I want that Eevee. That thing was adorable. Making their way through the eyeball room there, unfortunately getting kind of a weird bounce with their bomb throw the first time. Looks to be check-in. Yeah, I was thinking, like, looks to be check-in Mimic Cave here. See if they can't find a sword to actually put them in real live go mode instead of this kind of half go mode that they're in right now.
Yep, they've still got Laser Bridge to go, finding only a packet of blueberries there in Mimic Cave. Still have Laser Bridge to hope for some value. After that, it'll be crossing your fingers, hoping that GT has at least one sword.
Obscure is setting up the quick kill here on Argus there. Takes out the first couple there. Looks like he might have fired one too many arrows early. Is going to get the red phase, but that's still a pretty fast Argus kill. Not Argus, Armos Knight's kill. Except their 5th crystal Fourth crystal, fifth crystal. Yes, I was trying to look at the tracker there.
Chat pointing out that ObscureLifeForm could save a little bit of time when he does find that red cane. Could opt for Mire, and in the event of a God Mire, could save a little bit of time, could make this race a little bit closer.
That is a good point there. There is a large difference between a Turtle Rock clear and a Mire clear. It's much faster to do a Mire clear than a Turtle Rock clear. And since he's already got Master Sword, he's not going to be necessarily looking for a whole lot of additional help.
Yeah, depending on big key placement in GT, that could be a time save as well. So we've been treating this as a foregone conclusion, but it is very much not yet.
Another thing to kind of keep in mind here is neither of these runners has found any sort of additional swords. Master Sword Silverless can go wrong. It's not fun. it's not a fun fight to do. It's just tiresome. It's not necessarily hard. It's
an endurance race. Yeah, where it can get a little challenging is when magic management becomes an issue, but with half magic, that at least won't be a problem.
It's a fight where you can do it. It's just one slip can make things go very badly very quickly.
And speaking of such fights, yeah, Khloe with that Hammer Strats Trinex. Little more manageable with your half magic, with your red mail, with those safeties, but still just a pain.
Khloe is unfortunately having to deal with it looks like this might be a little bit of the old nerves here. It is getting to that point where you're thinking, okay, where is the other guy? Like, am I ahead? Am I behind? You can easily start mismenuing. You can be off by a pixel, and that Hammer's hitbox is just the worst, as Khloe is repeatedly showing us here, because it looks like those shots are hitting. Sometimes they miss. Ooh, down to 1 heart. Oh, this is a bit of a clencher. And, ooh. Is that one out there. Oof. Good fight there from Khloe.
Meanwhile, ObscureLifeForm giving us potentially some new checks here, since Khloe opted to go straight to Helmasaur. ObscureLifeForm showing us the back of Pod. If silvers are back here, if a sword upgrade's back here, this could change things.
At this point, just going to be a very quick dash up through Hera. This is one of those times where, hey, guess what? You saved Hera till the end, and hey, it's going to work out for you. Congratulations, buddy.
Chat informing me that I'm mistaken. Apparently, Khloe did full clear Pod after beelining Helmasaur. Apologies.
That chat's here to keep us honest there.
Yep, there is so much going on in any particular game of Randomizer. So much to keep track of. It's more than any 2 human people could do. Fortunately, we have dozens of people keeping track of absolutely everything going on today.
If I click the users in chat, I look and see, oh my, that is a lot of names right now. We just showing why Herapot, especially a Go mode Herapot, is just the best.
And it's the best kind of Go mode Herapot. Not quite true Go mode yet. Still looking for that sword. But if Khloe's counting items, he knows No need to worry about this particular gamble.
Add 3 shots to Moldorm's tail. He explodes, gives you a compass, and what's more important, he gives you your 6th crystal. So if you are interested, chat, we have a little game that we like to play. Guess your big key guessing game right now. Ben, what would your number be today?
I always choose 2 because you know you need that small key as well. So first chest small key, second chest big key. That's what I like to see.
That sounds pretty good to me. I'm gonna go with a nice 13, I think, today, because the last race I was in, my co-commentator took my 14, so I'm taking it back this time.
But of course, if you're Khloe, you actually want that that big key to be hidden a little further back, since you're still looking for that sword anyway.
Khloe's gonna just be clearing out this entire basement regardless here. It's an easy decision picking up this first key in Hope Room here is gonna go right, because if you don't have Master Sword, you need to find that. Like, this race won't end until Khloe finds a sword. Lighting a couple of Gibdos there on fire, doing a nice little swaggy block kick there. The item dash with the Cane of Samaria. Not finding anything in the compass room. Gonna probably mirror from right about here to go to check out that left side. On the other side here, Obscure just fluted and has come to 3. If he takes a right, ooh, oh, that's the wrong direction though. That's a shame.
Yep, he took the right, but then opted to go south, doing some Jeremiah loop stuff.
Is working their way through the Stalfos room here. These guys are extremely annoying. I have seen many a runner just decide, you know what, forget this, pull out Ether and just nuke the buggers.
And there's our big key.
That would have been number 12.
But Khloe going deeper, the big key, not all that's needed here. Will we find a second sword here
That
in GT?
was 12, and I am scrolling through right here. I am gonna say right now, I'm gonna butcher this name, but Sereni looks to be the first person with a guess of 12 today, so congratulations there. You win stuff.
A classic
mail.
Stan Lee Marvel No Prize.
There you go.
And there's silvers in the randomizer room. Nice to have, but not what Khloe needs yet.
Still looking for more things right now. That's a nice thing to have, but we still don't have a sword.
Yeah, very
And
nice to have when
hopefully
you're
Khloe
basically
remembers.
guaranteed a Master Sword Ganon fight, but...
Definitely. We might actually see a big chest open here in just about 2 seconds. Yep, Chloe's going for it. Just a red rupee. Bob the Anti-Fairy, who's not really Bob today, I guess it's just his cousin, drops down and is gonna find our Outermost Knights have now frozen their floor and get a little bit more action.
Yep, those silver arrows already coming in handy.
I swear, I looked at Obscure's screen for 2 seconds and Outermost Knights was already dead. And there you go. There is a Master Sword for Khloe. That is go mode at 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 56 seconds, give or take a little bit there. Khloe is climbing GT, and Obscure looks to be going to beat up Mothula for the green pendant. But a little trouble here with the mimics in the first room, in the second room here, but gets them down without too much problem. Those silver arrows make things go very, very, very easily.
Everyone's favorite moth fight being a little bit rude there, camping out on the spikes at the top of the screen. There we go. And another sword for ObscureLifeForm. He'll have a nice easy Ganon fight if he gets that far, but one can hope that he, after piecing out of Skull, he opts to go right and find that red cane.
You kind of hope so at this point. He's not. It's not. He's not 100% gone yet, but he needs to get there quick. Instead, he's going to be going and turning in that green pendant. It looks like. That's unfortunately not where he needs to be going there. Khloe's taken quite a few hits here in this gauntlet. Those ice floors plus those BMOSes can really do a number on your health if you're not careful.
You can see the nerves in ObscureLifeForm doing the little potty dance as he summons the duck there.
It kind of seems like there's a decent chance that he might have just completely forgotten about Graveyard Ledge at this point. He's searching everywhere. I think this might just also be he knows he's behind at this point. Like that bow hiding in Zelda's chest there hurt him a lot, and he could a gamble. Like it's a very reasonable, smart kind of decision to make. If you are fairly certain that your only chance to win is to do something completely crazy and hope that it works. I mean, pulling Ped, yeah, that's right up there. It makes a lot of sense to try it. Khloe's going to go ahead and check all of these chests on the GT climb. Find anything of use, unfortunately, because since we know where all the additional swords are.
Yeah, that's about the only thing left in the pool that would help him much. Khloe taking a little dive from our friend Trolldorm as ObscureLifeForm picks up his third pendant and $300 after a very quick, clean Landmo fight.
Ooh.
Moldorm just not being kind to Khloe today.
Moldorm has a bit of a grudge there after that first time. Probably doesn't feel good on Chloe's side there. They have a bit of a lead, so... Oh, jeez, Moldorm, take it easy, buddy. Oh my gosh.
No mercy from Moldorm today.
But Chloe's got to be careful there. What sort of...
I haven't been keeping track of what's sitting in Chloe's bottle. I know they've got
Oh my god, there's another one. Oh god, don't land on spikes.
Well, we're about to find out if there's a fairy hiding in there. And there is.
Oh
okay.
my god. Wow. Oh,
and
man,
of course,
well,
we know that Chloe's way ahead and has time to waste playing with Mr. Moldorm here. But if you're Chloe right now, what's got to be going through your mind?
I know our first question when we get to the interview here. We were so busy watching that we just did not even notice that Obscure had pulled the ped. Did anyone see what that was?
According to chat, a red rupee.
Okay, there we go there. As Chloe loots the last chest there, grabs a nice additional empty bottle. So yeah, that's not helpful at this point, but Chloe's gonna move on up and gonna go play a little bit of Geometry Wars there with our good friend Triple Aga 2.
Meanwhile, ObscureLifeForm just tripling down on skipping Graveyard Ledge, heading into Mire. Sans Red Cane. You hate to see it.
It's just one of those things that happens at times. Rando is going to occasionally put something in a place where you're not going to go. And unfortunately for Obscure, Chloe got there pretty easily. And all the difference in this fight.
Yep, and that is why we do these things in best 2 of 3 matches. That's why this group stage of the tournament is double, not single elimination, just to add some safeties into the system so that one decision can lose you the race, but it can't lose you the tourney.
Was getting a pretty good setup here so far with this Master Sword Ganon fight. Unfortunately, you're looking at a lot of spinning here to do any sort of damage to him. It is 12 spins in the first phase, 12 spins in the second phase, and then 4 more spins, followed by some silver arrows right into Ganon's face there. Placement there so he can get a couple of more additional shots in there. Having the cape with half magic there is not afraid to go ahead and use a little bit of it there. Is hugging onto the wall so the magic doesn't train any more. Pretty sure that they have counted exactly how far. Yep. And Ganon has moved into phase 3.
And that should be phase 4. Oh, but Chloe taking a tumble.
Probably the nerves just kind of getting to you at this point. It's the end of the time. It's a 6-6 race and you're an hour and 26 minutes in. This is starting to get a little bit on the long side. I can see where you can start feeling like, oh my god, things are gonna go wrong here. My opponent's gonna dot done in any second. This is a time where your nerves have kicked in. You've got the adrenaline pumping through your body right now.
Absolutely. In a race situation, it's so easy to imagine that you're racing against some theoretical perfect run. Your opponent's making all the right moves, and every little mistake you've made is a disaster. But of course, your opponent's only human too, and everybody's making gambles. Some of them pay off, some of them don't. Everybody
The
makes
amount of times that
execution
you
mistakes.
totally. A lot of times when you're running these races here, it is just one of those things where, yeah, you'd be surprised how many times the other guy is making the exact same play that you are. Khloe pops a red pot to fill their life back up there. This should get them a much more comfortable final phase of Aga here, of Ganon here.
Yep, magic management going to become a slight issue with only a bare sliver of magic yet. Of course, they do have half magic, but they're going to be wanting that torch glitch really bad right now, which normally is less of an issue when you're playing with half magic and silvers.
Is the torch glitch. I imagine Khloe has some sort of safety back there, some sort of pot. Or is just gonna use the double lamp strat here to go ahead and play it safe. This is gonna make things a little difficult though.
Yeah, they've got 2 bottles, and they used them on the red potion and fairy, so they are running sans safeties right now, having to use the slightly slower double lantern strat, where normally you'd just be spamming fire rod shots and calling it a day. But completing with extra magic to spare.
Get your GGs into chat right now. Khloe Prower is going to take game 2 here and move on to face the winner of Zelda Dasan and OC101 in the next round. Khloe Prower has finished with an SRL time of 1:29:53. Get your GGs in chat. And on the other side, it does look like that will be a forfeit from ObscureLifeForm. A great race on their side. Just randoed them today. There's nothing much they could do about it, unfortunately. But get your GGs in chat also for Obscure putting on a really good race there.
Absolutely. And it looks like we are joined now for a little post-race interview by Khloe Prower. Khloe Prower, rather. Congratulations.
Hey, geez, thank you very much. That was the true pinnacle of execution at the end there, right?
Moldorm seemed to have a thing for you there at the end. How were you feeling at that time? Were the nerves getting to you a little bit?
I mean, boss is impossible. Everyone knows no one can beat Moldorm. I'm surprised they did it live. No, I mean, I don't know what happened. I had a really good fight against Moldorm 1 in Hera, and then I just could not beat him in Ganon's Tower. I just, like, every time I tried to dodge, he just decided he would go right after me. All my hammer bounces just bounce me right to the edge, and I'm like, why can't I play this game?
And I see we're also joined by ObscureLifeForm. Welcome, Obscure. Thank you so much for putting on a great race for us today.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. GG, Khloe. Well played. That was a well-deserved victory.
Yeah, GG's. Just tough items. I mean, I saw that bow in that spot, and I knew that was gonna possibly be a while, because it was just, like, I made a mistake. Getting that bow was a mistake. I wanted to go to Sanctuary and do Mountain without the lamp. and I accidentally saved and quit to Link's house. So I'm like, you know what? I don't want to save and quit again, so I'm just gonna do escape now.
Yeah, I think that was the play I'd done. I went up the mountain without doing front of escape. And I knew, like, once I've eventually found the flute, I kind of knew the lamp was around, because I was thinking it's either lamp or flute that's around that's going to bring me to Maya. But I was like, I'm not desperate to look for it because I don't have Samaria yet.
Right.
Yeah, but that Samaria though, like going to Thieves Town, finding those flippers led me away from Graveyard once. And then finding the Titan Mitt led me away again. Then finding the flute led me away again. Then finding the bow led me away again. So it was like 4 times it just kind of led me away from that graveyard ledge.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, those mitts were in a weird spot too, because there was no reason to go to East Dark World like at all. Pod was completely empty. Yeah.
There were more than a few times where we were sitting here trying to get a read on exactly where things were going for you guys. When you earlier, it seemed like you had a really good chance there, Chloe, of being able to kind of double up on Pod and Eastern, but then when we got into Dark World, we saw that Pod was a pendant. We were trying to decide, well, are you gonna just go in and clear the entire thing? What was your mindset behind clearing the pendant Pod that early?
I thought I would find Titansmiths in it. To be entirely honest, I went there because I was sure Titansmiths were in Pod. That was like my first thought. I got Dark World access. I'm like, Mitts are in Pod. Let's just go with that, and we'll see what happens.
That is a very, very common place to find that. I completely understand that. Now, Obscure, on your side, you very early there were able to go and grab a couple of things out of Village of Outcasts. What was your next plan after that?
I mean, after Village of Outcast, depending on what I found, like I was planning to go Skull Woods and then to Graveyard Ledge, but then when I found the flippers, I was like, okay, it's a crystal. It's like I'd rather just be diving dungeons. Like it's a 6/6. It's okay if I miss like an item or two because it won't be because I don't have to clear all 7. So it's kind of like I just want to go to Swamp as quick as possible. So when I checked Skull Woods, I went to the back. I just thought I'll save and quit from here. Because I was planning to go all the way around to Catfish, and then eventually end up on Zora, and then head towards Pod. But those flippers kind of led me away down to Swamp Palace, and then finding the Fire Rod. It was a fun seed, but it just wasn't fun to play. If that makes any sense.
Well, I completely understand. I've been on the other side. I've in this tournament, and it's one of those things where you're like, oh, okay, yeah, this is good, except for the fact that I'm not finding things that I need, and it can make things stressful in an unpleasant way. So I completely understand what you mean there.
I had to do Hammer Trinex. I haven't had to do that in ages. I haven't had to do that since like the Invert tournament.
Yeah, you I think you were in Oko mode when you defeated Trinex there, and I know my heart was in my throat.
I still had that fairy. I picked up that fairy relatively early, and I can't even remember where, but I was chilling on it for a while. And then I used it on Moldorm.
And when you got knocked down there in in Moldorm 2 and you had 1 heart left, everybody started asking, oh my god, wait, do you have a fairy? Oh god, I hope you have a fairy. This would be a terrible thing if you don't have a fairy. Luckily you did, so everything was okay.
Oh, I did, but I'm just like, yeah, that was bad. But yeah, I mean, like Obscure said, it was a fun siege. It's just like, I don't know. It didn't give me anything for sure. It was the kind of seed that's like, I'll give you stuff, but I'll make you work for it too.
very interesting to see exactly what your clear rate here is when it finally comes up. Any predictions?
Oh, I know the answer.
Yeah, of course, yeah, right. 20-minute delay, right? Yeah, of course. All of a sudden, I realized that even though I'm live, the stream that I'm watching is not. Oh, fair enough there, guys. Anything else that you'd like to add about this seed at this point?
No, good game to Obscure. Definitely gave me a run for my money that first match too, because when we did it, we were literally 50 seconds off each other. Then I'm back to facing either Zelda or Ose again, which is great.
Yeah, and just kind of echo what you said. Like, congratulations on progressing to the next round against one of those two guys. I mean, it's not going to be an easy fight, but to be fair, like our group, you, Ossie, Zelda, like any of those runners are easily in my top 30 runners of this game. So it's been a tough group. I think whoever qualifies and goes through well deserves it. So congratulations and best of luck.
And okay, and then with that, I guess we will go ahead and start heading our way to the exit there. One more time, thank you guys for putting on the show tonight. Thank you to our trackers, thank you to the restreamers, and thank you to everybody who's been putting this together. I'm gonna give Ben a chance here to say anything he wants. My name's Dazed Cloud. Thank you for joining us.
Yep, big thanks to everybody in chat for keeping us honest and paying super close attention to everything going on. We've got plenty more Randomizer to watch coming up on all 6 Speed Gaming networks. Also, ALTTP Randomizer channels. Also, just everywhere you want to be, that's where we are. So stay tuned. More tournament coming up.